Hi, today's good person to know is James Caan CBE. He's founder and CEO of Hamilton Bradshaw, and his talk was on his entrepreneurial journey and the main lessons learned. Aged just 21, James set up Alexander Man, and interestingly, it was his father's words of wisdom of observing the masses and doing the opposite that singled him out from other recruitment agencies. He sold his company when it had 147 offices in 30 countries. The main lesson learned was that business is about people. If you're an entrepreneur and doing it on your own, it's not going to be successful. Get a team of people around you and give them equity so they're as passionate about the business as you are. James is famous for being a dragon on Dragon's Den, and during his 4-year tenure, the main lesson learned here was you don't have to be an inventor. You just have to do it cheaper, faster and better. And more recently, James was approached by the UK government to bolster the UK economy by finding talented entrepreneurs so they could start their own business. The main lesson learned here was you don't have to be obsessive about your idea. Share it with as many people as you can, because it's not the idea but the execution that makes it successful. And he said, don't ask what do you think, but ask why won't it work, because it will give you a different perspective on things. So I hope you enjoy this video and thank you for watching.
My first kind of entrance into the world of entrepreneurship was through my recruitment business, Alexander Man, which I set up at the age of 21. I left school sadly with no qualifications because I was so desperate and so passionate to want to be an entrepreneur. But I had this view at the age of 16, as I already knew what I was going to do, why did I need the degree and why did I need the O-levels? So let me get out there now and make it happen. What made that business incredibly successful was a phrase that my father used many, many years ago, which was observe the masses and do the opposite. So what made Alexander Man quite unique was when I set up the business in the early 80s, the recruitment industry was broken into 3 segments. The high street agencies like Annika, Luara, etc. have physical shops, high overhead, retail sites, distribution, big overhead base. The mid-range firms have a huge cost base because their model was very advertising driven. And in the 80s, advertising was incredibly expensive. And each of them was spending anywhere between 20 to 40 million a year advertising for candidates. But the top-end search firms literally pick the phone up and just call somebody and place it. So because I was young, naive and stupid, I thought, I don't get it. How can they charge the most and their cost is the least? But their market is quite small, so top-end search firms only operate at the top end of the market, which is the FTSE 100, the top-end boards, the chief executives. So my naive question was, why couldn't you bring executive search to the mid-range market? Because it's a 10 times bigger market, and nobody in that market has ever headhunted before. I was the first person in the UK to come up with the idea of headhunting in the masses, and the business just exploded. The business grew to 147 offices in 30 countries, and I successfully sold that business. The key thing I learned during that period for me is that business is not actually, in my opinion, necessarily about great ideas. Some will be controversial. I don't think it's about great products and services either. To me, I fundamentally, passionately believe business is about people. If you are an entrepreneur and you're looking to create a business, the thing that I've learned time and time again is you can't be all things to all people, and you can't do it all. We focus on the word execution and understand what does that really mean. Because to execute an idea, there are 5 or 6 absolutely fundamental deal-breaker components: people, strategy, finance, distribution, etc. So what are those key components in your business model, and who is going to do them? If the answer is me, 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 and me, chances are it probably isn't going to work. I would much rather own a small percent of something than 100% of nothing. I am absolutely willing, able and keen to share equity in a business. I really don't care, because I see too many businesses fail where those entrepreneurs are holding on to 100% of that. The second experience I had really was Dragon's Den. So as an entrepreneur, back in 14 different businesses, what were my key lessons there? Essentially, I think people sometimes spend too much time trying to be an inventor. I've never invented anything in my life. My experience of business as an entrepreneur is I don't think you have to invent anything new. I think you can simply take an existing idea and just do it cheaper, faster and better. I think the final thing that I experienced really was my time founding the Startup Loans Company, which kind of, when it started, it almost felt like one of those ridiculous pictures in Dragon's Den, where the government approached me and said, we think one of the challenges we have in this country, we're just not creating enough jobs. We think the way jobs are created is through starting businesses. To start businesses, we have to create entrepreneurs. To create entrepreneurs, we need to give them money. And in this country today, there is no venture capital as such, because most of the time you need security when you're getting a loan. And they said, we'd like you, James, to go out and find smart people to help them start a business. And they said, your target is to start 1,000 new businesses in the first 3 years. And sadly, we haven't made any money, because when I did get offered the opportunity, in the small print it said, you don't get paid, you don't charge any fees, you can't invest in any of the businesses, and you can't leverage your existing business for startup loans. So I thought, okay, well, very generous, clearly, but I thought I'm still going to do it. Anyway, we launched it in 2012, and by 2015, we'd started 28,000 businesses, which today employ 41,000 people, and 37 million has already been returned in taxation from the businesses that we've created. Biggest lesson I learned in startup loans, many people are a bit too obsessive about the idea. And again, the only advice I would give is go back to basics. It is not ideas that succeed, it is people. Personally, I don't believe I could nick somebody's idea and be so passionate, because it wasn't my idea. What I say is, I've got this idea, let me tell you what it is, and what I need you to do is tell me, why would this not work? If you're going to fail, make sure you do it quickly, because procrastination and failure is really, really expensive. And the one thing I've learned beyond anything is, if you're running a business, if you have people around you, if they have something in it with you, if they are aligned and their interest is aligned with you, the difference that makes is transformational. So each business I have, the first question I always want to know is, have we utilised the equity well enough? And if you can create a formula where people buy in, they're aligned with you, it's much easier to run that business, because each of those people will have a sense of passion and care about your vision and your dream. And actually, together, I think it makes it a much more powerful business than it would be if it was your own.
James was really fortunate in that his father gave him great advice, and I hope by watching this video, James' words of wisdom will resonate with you as well. So I hope you enjoy this video. Please subscribe to see more, and thank you for watching.